Sometimes you need to find the maximum or the minimum value based on one or more conditions. Is there a formula that can do that easily for you? Yes, MAXIFS and MINIFS are the functions that you need to know. The good news is that if you know SUMIFS and AVERAGEIFS, then these two functions are similar. And in case you don't, I'll include the links for those in the description below. So let's look at 3 examples to understand these two functions. Here we have the data for a few orders. Each order includes the product name, the source of the order, and the number of units sold. The link to this file is in the description, so if you want to practice along, you can download the file from there. In the first example, let's find out which is the biggest order for each product. In other words, what is the maximum units sold for laptops, phones, and tablets? So let's write the formula. In the cell G2, which is right next to laptops, I will write MAXIFS. The first parameter is the max range. That is, where should Excel look to find the largest or the maximum value? We'll select the data in column D from D2 to D11. This is the column that contains sales numbers. Press F4 to fix the range. Now you'll see the next set of parameters. These are criteria range and criteria pair. It is a pair because Excel searches for the criteria in the criteria range you provide. Since we are trying to find the maximum units sold for a product, the criteria range is the list of all products, that is B2 to B11. Fix the reference. And the criteria will be the value in cell F2, which is laptops. Close the bracket. We get the answer as 5720. The units sold for laptops are 4970, 5710, 4500, and 5720. 5720 is the maximum amongst them, and that's why we get that as the answer. Let's copy the formula to get the maximum units sold for phones and tablets as well. Now let's look at our second example, this time with MINIFS. In this example, we'll find out the smallest unit sold value for each product. We will use the MINIFS formula to do that. The formula works the same way. In fact, other than the function name, everything else will be exactly the same. In the cell H2, we will write MINIFS. Instead of max range, it asks for the min range. Despite the minor difference in the name, the range will remain the same. It will be the numbers in column D, D2 to D11, and fix the reference. The criteria range will be B2 to B11, and the criteria will be F2. We get the answer as 4500. As you would recall, the units sold for laptops are 4970, 5710, 4500, and 5720. 4500 is the smallest value amongst them, and that's why we get that as the answer. Let's copy the formula. Now if you see both the formulas, only the name is different and everything else is the same. If you're familiar with SUMIFS and AVERAGEIFS, you would have noticed the similarity already. And if you aren't familiar, then don't worry about it. Let's look at a final example. In this, we will find the maximum value based on more than one condition. The S in the MAXIFS and MINIFS indicates that you can use it for multiple conditions. We need to find the maximum units sold for laptops via stores. So two conditions, one for products and the other for the source. There are two orders for laptops from stores. One of them has the value as 5710 and the other 5720. So our function should return 5720. Let's start writing the formula. MAXIFS. Max range will be D2 to D11. This time we have two conditions, so we'll provide two criteria range and criteria pairs. One will be for the product and the other will be for the source. We can provide them in any order. Let's start with the product like we've done so far. The range will be B2 to B11 and the criteria will be the cell G7. Now as I press comma, the formula asks us to provide details of criteria range 2 and criteria 2. We will provide the criteria range 2 as C2 to C11 and the criteria 2 as G8. Fixing the ranges is optional as we are not copying this formula anywhere. And as expected, we get the value as 5720. So that's how you use the MAXIFS and the MINIFS function. I hope you found the explanation useful. If you have questions, then please put them in the comments below and I will respond. If this was helpful, then please like the video and subscribe to our channel so that you don't have to search for us again. Thanks for watching. Until next time.